along the shore of Hudson Bay, where the water meets the tundra in one of the world's most fragile ecosystems. Sea ice is slow to form. It's great for the tourists that flock here, not so great for what they've come to see. The polar bears that literally pace the shore, just waiting for the bay to freeze so they can go and hunt seals, their first meals in months.
Base, Buggy 12, leaving launch.
Thanks, Kevin. Have a good day.
Kevin Burke has brought thousands of tourists out here.
So you've been at this a while, eh?
Yes, sir. This is my 30th season.
Driving the giant buggies that let tourists get up close. At first, he wasn't bothered by the subtle changes he was seeing.
I was a real naysayer about this.
That began to change as he noticed change. The shrubs growing higher, the trails getting rougher.
We would be almost completely done the season right now. The temperatures would have been a lot colder. The ice would have been formed on the Hudson Bay. The bears would be gone.
The bears are still here, getting thinner.
I don't want to think of doom and gloom. I do not want to see these bears disappear or starve to death.
It's anecdotal, but there's certainly science to back it up. Out there on Hudson Bay, the surface temperature has warmed about 3 degrees over the last 20 years. That's caused changes here on land where polar bears are staying longer. Now scientists are looking to new technologies to measure the impact of that.
Powering up atop this buggy, a Google Trekker, the same camera used for Google Street View. BJ Krischhofer is running it.
You can see in that orb on the top there's several cameras that are all working together to make that street view image.
This is what it looks like when the buggy is rolling. 15 cameras work in unison, capturing a 360-degree view of the tundra and everything on it.
We drive around and we hopefully witness bears like you have right behind us here.
That's proven an elusive task. At first the camera wasn't working, deleting pictures when the buggy would stop.
And we do some parking when there's a bear around, but as soon as the bear leaves, that's when we move as well.
That's been resolved. When the first shots of thinning bears go online next year, Krischhofer is hoping to raise awareness.
A lot of people can't come up to a place like this. It's expensive, it's remote.
By doing this over and over, they can also document changes in the environment and the bears themselves over time, giving the public and scientists a visual record of the very changes that Burke has been seeing over the last few decades.
People need to understand something before they're going to be willing to care for it or take action on behalf of it.
These bears here on this side we're looking at right now are actually in pretty good shape for this time of year. We'd say they're average.
Scientist Jeff York says it takes a long view to see changes here. If warming is to be stopped, this is a critical moment.
So in Paris, at the very least, what we need to see is a solid framework that all countries agree to.
Bringing the world here virtually for years to come, he hopes, will keep the pressure on, should goals fall short.
Right now we know from what they're calling their contributions, it's not going to be quite enough. If you tally everything together, we're still going to see temperature rise of around 3.2, 3.5 degrees C, and that's not good enough.
Polar bear science itself is full of questions and debate over how much populations overall are suffering. Exact counts are elusive. Methods like tracking with radio collars have limitations. The Trekker and other non-evasive technologies may help fill in the holes. There are experiments tracking bears using thermal cameras in space.
So this is a stereo vision camera.
This camera is part of a Purdue University project that may one day use tourist photos and facial recognition technology to build profiles of individual bears.
The two things that we're focusing on right now to I guess, get from the pictures are body condition and body size. And so as a result of loss in sea ice, like we've seen changes in bears as far as, bears are becoming smaller, they're becoming thinner.
Here on the edge of the Arctic, Churchill has a lot at stake. On one hand, a warming climate is opening this region up. Its deep water port, the only one in Canada's north, is struggling. A longer season may be its only hope. On the other, international tourism is driving the economy here.
These bears are worth more to me alive than they are dead.
Without those bears, Burke says the way of life here would be gone too.
Being biased, I make my living off these beautiful creatures, and I want these bears, and I want all this wildlife and this land to be around for my children's children once I'm gone.
All of it hangs in the balance of just a few degrees. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, near Churchill, Manitoba.